was freed from the studio, that was 2008. And that's when studios were saying we can't make these films anymore. And then people were saying, well, set it in the city and we'll finance it.
Jesus.
So if it's familiar, we'll... but we were very fortunate attracting great talent because the characters were kind of fresh and rich.
And the talent became more well-known since you cast it.
Yes, we were very fortunate to get such a combination of people.
Now, the balance of men and women, this is in many ways a very male project, but you do have the two romantic interests. You're balancing the action with a soft romantic side.
That balance and those two female characters all the more special because of that, in a way. And the differences, you know, from me as character Bertha to Jessica's Maggie are very very rich in their differences.
Were those women the same characters as the book, or did you change them a bit?
They're again, Bertha, that's a true story.
They were similar.
Yeah, true story. She was the Amish, not Amish actually, but the very...
Mennonite.
Dunkard.
Dunkard. She was a Dunkard.
There's so many splinter churches, but
That's right,
closed community, very traditional, and had the affair with the moonshiner, young Jack, played by Shia, and Maggie, though, and that was first love and innocence, and then Maggie...
Without giving the entire story away.
Maggie's, a much more stronger woman with life experiences, damaged, coming together.
I love it that you made Hardy's character, who's the most powerful, and he's the leader of the family, and the one who's tough and violent. The one who couldn't seem to bring himself to make a pass at her.
Well, he kind of crumbled under the force of Maggie, because he wasn't actually a male in the family. He was the female in the family. He was the mother hen, looking after the brood. And
Tom
really... so rather than she was a kind of a love interest coming in there, rather than that, she was actually a kind of threat that was coming in and kind of taking away his position as the matriarch of the family.
Interesting.
And Tom had a really great perspective. Tom
that's what we do.
Had a great perspective of that feminine matriarch, the old woman, which was a great counterbalance to the physicality and the coiled snake.
So Hardy was he working really closely with Shia and rehearsing a lot to get the dynamic exactly precise?
Well, that and very much so with Jessica, because of that relationship. And Jessica and Tom, it was an incredible experience. It was like family, and a family of misfits. We're all misfits here, and damaged. And but they're the brothers, and like Dane. Yeah, I'm sure you heard this. They, Shia and Dane drove up from LA all the way to Georgia, and they were, Jason met the Bondurant family, disappeared in the woods for a while, and
that explains it.
They were doing their research, sampling
the local wares,
backwoods brews.
Very good. Now the movies, you shoot digitally now, yes?
Oh, I was hoping you didn't notice.
What I wanted to say was that it's one of the most beautiful period digital films I've ever seen.
Thank you.
It's stunning.
I didn't notice.
I was very,
Well,
I was
but everybody
very
does
anxious
it
about
now.
that.
It's not,
Yeah, but I was very
but
anxious. I didn't want to
Public
have that
Enemies looked
feeling.
very strange
There's
on
the-
film as a digital movie being projected in the theaters, and it looked really good on Blu-ray, but that's different.
Right.
You want it to look good on the big screen too.
Yes.
So tell me how you accounted for that. What did you do to make it look good?
Well, it was there's a new camera, the Alexa Arri Raw. We were one of 4 films using it. If I only now what I now know knew then, but there's we did everything we could. It was a huge advantage for just logistical reasons, and our budget had squeezed, and we had a lot of night shoots in the countryside. So, in terms of lighting and shooting, but my key goal was to not have the feeling that digital just you see too much information, and it has a plastic kind of precision, and there's something about the memory of the past and a period film that it's kind of counterintuitive to have that
I agree.
plastic
Switch-
electric feel.
When I was in CinemaCon, I saw the footage that Peter Jackson showed of the 48 frames per second
Oh,
of The
yes.
Hobbit, and I wonder if he doesn't agree with your sense of. I agree with you.
What does
This
it look?
is too. It looks like masterpiece theater outside when it's too
Well, you
bright.
know what's really weird is that it's actually becoming, it looks like CGI, so real life actors look now like CGI. And digital effects are getting so sophisticated. There's a kind of hyper reality now of where everything is CG reality.
Well,
Unreality.
part of what I also liked about it was the music. Now you wrote the screenplay with the music
I
in
just fell
mind.
asleep then for a bit. Did you catch that? I really hope so.
Wow.
It was suddenly like, hang on.
That happened on
You
the,
morphed very quickly from
That
something
happened
about
on the,
CGI into something about the music.
that happened on
Um,
the set with the cameraman. He was so tired he fell asleep working. Anyway,
I didn't notice.
good.
We should have gone home earlier last night.
Oh, last night, yes.
You were
Definitely.
playing, that you were celebrating, and this is the last interview of the day. I will put that on the record. You wrote the screenplay with the music in mind, and you put together a rather. I loved what you did with putting the contemporary songs in a more period context. Explain how you did that.
Well, why we did that was so that we could kind of drag this period film in, to make a point that what was going on back then is perpetuated today, and the kind of the great folly of prohibition still goes on to this day with the war on drugs and so one of the ways we did that was to take contemporary songs, or some contemporary songs, for example, White Light, White Heat by the Velvet Underground, are relatively contemporary, or certainly not from the period,
No.
which is a song about amphetamine use, and one of the classic drug-addled masterpieces, and do that in a kind of in a bluegrass fashion or of the day. So and that way kind of stretch time in some way, so that it made that point. I think it kind of worked real well. We were really pleased.
And having those iconic voices from country, Nashville.
Because you end up with Ralph Stanley, for example,
and Emmylou Harris.
singing a Velvet Underground song.